So today, Fortnite came out with a new mode called Ballistic. I'm sure you guys may have heard of it, maybe not. For those who haven't, it's a Valorant clone, CSGO clone, search and destroy sort of combination game mode that Valorant came out with it. And it's honestly, if you want my opinion right off the bat, it's okay. I didn't really expect much going into it, especially with how little content there was that they announced on launch. And to be honest with you, again, like I didn't really expect much. I kind of just expected it to be like very, very Fortnite-y, kind of casual. I was kind of hoping for a few things. We'll get into that in a second that I didn't really see. But overall, it's fun. And I think that's a good thing. I think that for the tac shooter industry, for the tac shooter fans, it's a fun game, and that's never a bad thing to have a fun game, contrary to what people like may believe about what they consider to be fun. Like it has to be like the hardest thing in the universe. It has to be like you're dying every 5 seconds to be fun, and like if that's what your version of fun, that's okay. But it's it's like one of those things where it's like this is accessible to everybody. It's fun for the whole family, and it's like that's a good thing. I think that's good. Like if your game isn't fun, then why play it? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, a couple things I just want to talk about, like kind of like give my thoughts and opinions as somebody who's been playing like tac shooters for the better part of like 10 fucking years. I was really excited for this. I thought that this was like a really cool thing because again, like the tac shooter industry has like stagnated so hard, and there's no options besides the really shitty CS2 port that is inferior to CSGO in almost every single way and has been for the better part of like more than a year, or Valorant. And I'm not gonna sit here and talk about my opinions on Valorant, but long story short, I don't like Valorant. I think Valorant is not that good for a lot of reasons, but this isn't about Valorant. This is about this game. But I am gonna kind of make some comparisons to Valorant and kind of let you know my thoughts on that. So this game I thought was going to be a lot like Valorant when I first started playing it. I guess if we'll go into what I thought I was gonna be playing when I first started playing it. So for the most part, I just expected it to be kind of a casual 5v5, tac shooter. It's going to be more like, I assumed it was going to be like kind of like Call of Duty meets Counter-Strike, and it's going to be a little bit easier because of course, unfortunately it's one of those things where you got to account for the console players. You can't just account for PC players, especially with how many console players there are in Fortnite. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, well 90% of our player base is console players, and the only games they play are Call of Duty and Fortnite, so we gotta like appeal to them somehow. So I get it at that point, or from that perspective. But I did wish that it was gonna be hard. I think that games are becoming easier and easier, and excuse me. I think games are becoming easier and easier as of late, and especially since Valorant, I think tac shooters have just become like too easy, and there's not enough emphasis on like movement and like other skills besides just pointing and shooting, because in my opinion, I don't think that like just pointing and clicking somebody is like an invaluable thing. It's like there's always like some way you're gonna miss, or maybe some external factor comes into play where you miss or something like that. So it's good to have other systems that require skill other than just like pointing and clicking the guy. Like I think movement is a big part of why I enjoy games, and so from that perspective, I just wanted it to be like movement but challenging. Like I wanted it to kind of be like something that's like maybe easy to learn but like really hard to master. I saw sprinting in the trailer. I thought that the sprinting was gonna be like, I knew there's gonna be sprinting, but honestly I hoped that there wouldn't be sliding, but as we'll see, that was not the case quite. But getting into like after like, and then like I guess to finish up like what I expected is I just wanted to be fun. Like I looked at this and I was like, there's really no like way Epic can go wrong with this as long as they make the game fun, and they just want to make sure to like challenge the industry. I think that it's like especially since Valorant has just controlled the space for fucking like what 3 years. It's good to have competition because competition breeds innovation. So there's nothing like bad about this game existing. But as we'll see, I mean, actually, like, well, not as we'll see. I can't really say anything negative because I think they did a pretty good job, especially with just like making the game fun. I think they did a good job. But moving on to like what we actually got. So it's okay. It's a little bit more like Search and Destroy than I would have hoped, to be honest. It's a little bit more Call of Duty-ish than I would have hoped. Let's go on. Like, I'm going to start off with the pros really quick, and then we'll move on to the cons. You know what? Let's do the cons first. So, cons, it's too easy. I think the movement is too... You can really move. You don't have any stamina. Sprinting is a little too fast. Rotates are too quick. You are really loud when you sprint, and obviously you're like really exposed while sprinting. So like, you know, people hiding around a corner can just clip you if you're, you know, if you don't check it and you're sprinting. So there is downsides to it. Obviously, it's not just like you get to sprint around for free and like get to live, but there is also like you can just kind of run in any direction. So I think in higher ranks, anti-aiming is probably going to be an issue, and like doing weird goofy ass fucking stuff is going to be funny. Sliding, I don't really like the idea of sliding. I don't think it's really necessary, especially since it does use the Fortnite movement. So you can kind of preserve your momentum while sprinting and then sliding and then jumping, and then you can just do all that like kind of weird jazz, and it looks kind of funny, and it's like maybe makes you a little hard to hit. Maybe not, because they changed the animations. We'll have to see, but it's okay. I just kind of wish that there wasn't sliding, because I want it to be more about like, you know, clicking the other guy to an extent. Like, I think sprinting is okay because it's like a unique thing. Like no other tac shooter just has really done that besides like Rainbow, but Rainbow doesn't count. Rainbow's too different. It's not the same. Another con, certain things are really unbalanced. It's like the impulse grenades, I feel like are gonna be a problem. There's, you know, like, honestly, like, I haven't tested out all the guns, but another thing is that, like, it's really like Call of Duty, to where it's like, the movement is really fast and kind of forgiving, and like certain guns are really good, and they all have damage profiles that you would expect from Valorant or CSGO. So like, you know, like most guns will one tap you, and then like there's, you know, the expected few that don't, but time to kill is really fast. Like you die instantly if you make a mistake. So in that regard, I think that if you're gonna have like that much stuff in your game, you're making a tac shooter, I think that you like movement needs to be like, I'm all for movement, but I think it just needs to be toned down a bit. I guess it's a little too fast. Moving on though, other cons. There's certain bad things about the movement I don't like. There is I kind of wish that there was acceleration. It does use direct velocity, or if it doesn't, then there's like very like almost no acceleration at all. So meaning no counter strafing, and regular walking speed is really slow. And for some reason, you walk faster moving forward than you do to the sides or backwards. So I don't really know what the point of that is, because it's like, if you want to like relocate faster, you're gonna have to turn around, walk forward in the direction that you want to move in, and then just like hold W awkwardly, and then turn back around, and then look where you're trying to go. I think you should be able to move the same speed all directions. You shouldn't be able to just move faster forward. It's kind of weird. Flashbang. The flashbang looks really fucking strange. I don't know why it looks like a mold. It looks like you get somebody came up to your face and threw white mold and all over your screen and lathered it around. It's like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. I don't know why they chose that texture. Should have been like just solid white. Just make it like Counter-Strike, and then add accessibility option that makes it black. Anyway, though, it is kind of very Fortnite-y also. I kind of wish that they would have done something a little bit more unique. I wanted them to kind of like push the boundaries and make it a little, you know, like kind of really dig deep and be like, okay, we're making a tac shooter. But it's a little bit like Fortnite, like the aiming and like the way the guns work and the shooting. It's just kind of like very Fortnite-y, especially like the grenades. I think the grenades kind of need some polish. They kind of land weird, they kind of stop weird. It's kind of like funny, but for the most part, like that's all really cons I have. Other than well, hold on, I do have another con. I think certain skins should be disabled. skins that don't have a clear head should not be playable in the game. I know that's kind of like a decisive thing to say, but it does make it really hard to headshot people, especially like Candy Cane Man or like Peter. Their head extends farther than their headshot hitbox, so sometimes like by instinct you may like try to shoot them and then you'll just be like, oh, my bullet went through them and it went through the side of their head, and now I'm sleeping. I guess you could say that that's also like a trade-off, because you know, they're fatter, so they can't go around corners as easy, but it's just kind of like weird. I think that certain skins should definitely be disabled. Ones that have clear headshot hitboxes should be the only ones that are playable, in my opinion, just to preserve the integrity, because there might be like some goofy ass strategies in the future where if this game does ever like get off the ground, it's gonna be like I don't know, like I can imagine a world where there's some sort of goofy like meta where everybody plays Peter in like the highest rank playing in tournaments, because it's like yeah, fucking like I don't know, headshot box is weird and then like nobody can hit each other and it's like kind of goofy. I wouldn't put it past people to be figuring that shit out, because everybody always usually does. But that's like all the cons I really have right now. It's fun. Like moving on, this is segue, by the way. The pros, it's fun. It's a fun game. You know, I think we need more fun games, especially in the online space. Everybody gets shit for Epic, but I think that they're just good at making fun games. I think Fortnite is just a fun game if you play it like to have fun, and this game is a fun game if you play it to have fun. I don't know if I could really say like how competitive it gets, because I just played like 3 matches of unranked, so I don't know. But in the unranked, it's just fun. You know, you get to kind of like chill, you get to play it. It's not like, you know, you're not fighting for your life in unranked. It's, you know, it's like, it's chill. You know, it's a fun game. It's a fun game. Another thing I like is that I like that they did like try new things, but I did like that they decided not to, you know, just copy Counter-Strike or Valorant. I commend them for trying something a little different. I don't think sprinting or all these weird things could necessarily be a bad thing. It's, you know, because it's like the best thing that they could do is make it different, and like not everything has to be the same thing. I think that's, you know, a lot of people kind of fall into that where it's like, oh, in order to be good it has to be Valorant, or in order to be good it has to be Counter-Strike, and it's like, okay, well, I mean, you know, you gotta be open to trying different things. You know, it's not always gonna be like it's not always gonna be exactly what you want it to be, but you know, if it's different, if it tries new things, I appreciate that, because you know, the games industry, it doesn't fucking happen anymore. So anyway, another pro, I like the guns. The guns are actually pretty cool, and for the most part, some of them are actually really hard to use. I like them 4 and the AK, and they also have a lot of recoil. Very brave of them, because usually when it comes to spray patterns, they take the Call of Duty approach where they like, oh look, we have spray patterns, but like the gun has like 60 bullets and it barely moves from the center of your screen, because console players will cry if they have to like you know, like actually like pull down and control, like compensate for recoil instead of letting aim assist do it for them. So it's kind of brave of them for them to do that. You know, I do like that a lot of the guns are hard to control. They're not like just free, which is nice. I wish there was a little bit more guns, but honestly, the ones that are there are all right. One thing I don't like is, actually I forgot to put this in the comments, but I'll just kind of go over it since we're talking about the guns. The shotguns. Shotguns are way too good. I've used the auto shotty. It sucks. It does like 50 damage a shot. It's not fun to fight against. You can move too fast. It's too good. It's not fun. Another thing actually on that regard, since we're talking about this, same thing with the sniper rifle. Sniper rifle is the op. It one-shot body shots. It is, you move way too fast for how good and how much value you get out of it. It's just like, you know, it's not Call of Duty, you know, it's like you can't like the reason why guns are balanced like that in Counter-Strike and in Valorant is because when you use them you're slow, and like the only character, like for instance in Valorant, that can really kind of get a lot of value out of it, besides like Chamber, I think, is Jet, because you know she's got the movement ability. But in this game everybody has the movement ability, so everybody can kind of take advantage of the sniper, and it's like ouch. Like it hits hard, it's accurate, it's immediately accurate, quick scoping is good. I can already tell it's gonna be a problem. But anyway, guns for the most part, actually I like them. I like the way they're balanced. I think that they, you know, they're good. They're like Counter-Strike. The damage is really high. It's very punishing. Positioning is important, and that's a good thing. I think challenging people to play position and to do like you know, use situational thinking is always a good thing. The map. I thought I was gonna hate the map. I like the map. The map is actually like, it's funny how like when you see a map, you can like it's funny how like when you see a map, like I was okay, well, I thought I was gonna be scared of it because it looked like a Valorant map. It really did. It looked like, I was like, oh god, oh my fucking god, here we go. It's a fucking Valorant map. Oh god, this is gonna be terrible. Why are they taking notes from Valorant? But then I played it, and actually I think it's pretty good. I think some of the like movement mechanics really suit the map. They make it so you know, you can get to cover easily. You're not like stuck in one position. You're not like fighting for your life out of the corner. And speaking of the guns and like the map combined and all the utility, I like that this game gives you options. You know, say what you will about like Counter-Strike and Valorant. Counter-Strike I think gives you options, so it's like, okay, but it's just really hard. But Valorant gives you no options. I don't like games that are designed like that. It's a personal opinion, but I like that this game is not afraid to give you options if you're stuck in a bad spot. You know, this reminds me of like a Tarkov video I watched one time where this guy was basically ranting about how like inertia was ruining the game, making it slow. I tried to find the video, I cannot. Like, I don't know what the heck happened to it. I watched it like 2 years ago, but he's basically just saying like, you know, when you're a soldier, you get shot. I know Fortnite is not, I know Fortnite is not like, it's like a mill sim, but you know, you don't just lay down and die when you're like in a fight like that, you know, you go down swinging, you know. It's just like in too many games now, I feel, are just so afraid of giving players like options to deal with certain situations that it just becomes like boring and like not fun, and like it's just like like it's like, okay, well, you know, it's like, why am I, how do I explain this? It's like, in Valorant, you can only pick one character at the start of the game. You can't like pick, you can only pick Jet, you can't swap, so that's gonna be like what you do the whole game. Like, it's gonna determine how you play. It's gonna determine what situations you can win and certain situations when you can't. And it's gonna determine like everything. But, I don't like that approach to game design because it's so restrictive. It's just not really like my cup of tea. When I like am in a fight that I feel like I should win, I don't feel like, when people are just like blatantly swinging me and like doing like the dumbest things that I could possibly imagine, I don't feel like they should have an advantage over me. I think that it's like, you know, there's certain times where it's like, you know, aim is not an infallible thing, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Is like, you know, when you're aiming and you're trying to look at somebody and you're trying to shoot them, you know, you're not gonna always hit the shot 100 million% of the time. But I think the better player should always win. Or not like always win, but like, yeah, it should win most of the time. In Valorant, it's like people who are very significantly worse but just use like the lowest sensitivity imaginable can just kill you because sometimes you just have no options. Like, you're stuck in a 1v3, you don't have a flashbang, you picked Viper, so now you're stuck in a corner and you don't have a flash and you can't get out of it and you have no options, and you just have to sit there and win an aim duel 3 times in a row. And it's like, you know, it's not a guaranteed thing. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like things that aren't guaranteed or things that can kind of contribute to the success of whether or not I win a round. It's just annoying because it's like, oh, well, I picked this guy, so now I can't do this thing. And it's like, okay, well, I guess I have to go screw myself. But that's more of like a personal opinion. But I like, the point I'm trying to get at here is that I like that this game gives you options. It seems like with the utility, you know, they relegated that sort of role picking to one piece of utility. I think that's a genius idea. I think that it doesn't take away other people's ability to use flashbangs and smoke grenades. So it keeps that dynamic gameplay, but it doesn't take take away options. And like the movement also, Valorant makes their maps 3 trillion like meters like wide, and like there's no movement. Like half the characters in the cast don't have any movement, so it's just so like awful to traverse these. But this map is kind of designed in the same way, but the fact that you have sprinting and movement, it doesn't, like, it works kind of. There's certain areas in the map that are like, okay, like, like I can get here, I can rotate to this side, I can kind of like, I could take cover in this spot. If they're rushing me, I can run back and get some, like, I can get some cover. I can, like, not have to completely dedicate myself to aim dueling 5 guys and then taking one out and then getting traded and dying instantly. Like, I have options. I can play safe, I can fall back, I can commit. There's a lot of choices, and I actually like didn't expect that going into this, but the utility and the map design kind of offer that, and it's kind of cool. I think it's never a bad thing to give players agency. It's never a bad thing to give players options, because the only thing they can do with those options is be creative. Obviously some things are going to be like too good, and it's just kind of how it is, and like doesn't excuse like certain things for being overpowered, but I think that letting players play the way they want is a really important like thing about video games, especially like tac shooters. I don't think that like it used to be back in the day, like when Counter-Strike Source and Counter-Strike existed, but as soon as Counter-Strike 2 came out, they took away like all the fucking like customization of the game, and they're like, nah, you're not customizing the game anymore. It's like kind of, I don't know, we're moving towards this like you are gonna play the game the way we want you to play the game mindset, and I don't like that. I think Valorant kind of doctored that, and it's not like that great. But anyway, I've been talking about this for like 5 minutes, so moving on. The guns feel pretty good. The map is pretty good, and I like the dynamic potential of the utility. I'm trying to think of anything else. I think that's about it, because I've only played like 2 or 3 games, but so far that's my opinions. I think it's, for their first time doing something like this, it's pretty good. It has some downsides, like I said, it's a little too easy. But I think if they make the movement a little bit more punishing, kind of maybe make it so there's a little bit of like inaccuracy, acceleration. It's some games are afraid to add that sort of thing, because like you have to counter strafe, and then it makes it challenging, and then console players can't do that, because it's like, what are they gonna do, counter strafe on a fucking controller? Like, what? But I think if you don't add those sorts of things, it becomes like weird, especially since like I mentioned before in the movement, there's no you move slower like side to side and backwards than you do walking forward, so like jiggle peeking angles is really weird. It's like you kind of have to like full commit and then like crouch in order to get any value, because you can't get around the corner fast enough before somebody sees you, because you're just really slow moving to the side, and then like you can't like let go and slide around the corner like further, because there's no acceleration, and you just kind of stop instantly, so you have to like hold and then stop. And then I feel like maybe especially at higher ranks is going to cause like Valorant issues, where like you swing and then like immediately stop moving, because there's like no like counter strafing really, and then you just kind of one tap the guy, and it's like like I don't like that. I think that it needs to be a little harder, just a little bit harder. But other than that, yeah, it's pretty good.
Thank you, appreciate it.
I don't know if anybody's stuck around this long, but if you did, thank you. I want to talk more about these things, kind of just make like one-off like videos, so talking about like me sitting here giving you my unfiltered, unscripted opinions on certain things. So if you liked it, like it, and it would make me very happy, and comment, and throw me shade in the comments. I appreciate that too. Also, if anybody's here from the main channel, the video's coming out soon. My entire computer, my Windows install got corrupted. I don't know if well, actually, I do know. My entire Windows install got corrupted, and it killed my motivation to work on my video for like literally for like a month. It was tough. I had to reinstall everything. I lost some stuff, lost some like important settings, and luckily the video's like intact, because I keep everything on an external drive. But if anybody's wondering where that went, I'm sorry. It should be out really soon. or not like really soon, I can't promise, but it should be out eventually. It's still being worked on. I just, you know, I came into a really serious roadblock, and you know, I feel like I kind of owe it to you guys to like create something really good, and if I just like released it now, or you know, like just kind of release it now or cut out a lot of like what I've wanted to say, it's not going to be as good. So I'd rather it just stay in the oven, stay cooking until it's, you know, it's ready when it's ready. I made a promise in my server that like I'd make it by Halloween, and you see how that turned out. And so it's almost 2 months past Halloween now. So it's not really my fault, but it also is kind of my fault. So if you're interested in that or wondering where the frick I went, that's what happened with that. So yeah, cool, very nice. Thank you guys for watching, and you know, throw me shade in the comments. You know, talk yo smack, talk yo shit, dog, and let me know. Let me know what you guys think, because this is what I think, and what I think is usually wrong most of the time. Anyway, latest.